Good afternoon, traders and investors. It's Will here with another one. So I hope you guys had a great day trading. Hope you guys made some profits. And if you didn't, don't worry about it too much. Tomorrow is a new day. So today on the indexes, we had a bit of a muted day here. As you can see, we have some bit of a discrepancy. S&P was red, NASDAQ was green, the Russell was the worst performer on the day, and Dow Jones, pretty much all your value plays were kind of down on the day. So it was really technology leading, and a lot of the red pretty much came from XLE. We had a big drop on energy today, guys. As you can see, it was down almost 1.4% at one point, and that really dragged us down. So I'm going to spend a little bit less time on the indexes today because we are wrapping up our week and I want to spend a bit more time on individual stocks. So we're going to try to go through as many names as we can here. So let's get into some charts. Now, looking at S&P 500. So we are doing very good. And are we potentially negating this head and shoulders? Well, what you want to see is you want to see bulls hold this bull flag and potentially push above. And they would be able to do that if they do get some strength tomorrow from our financials and healthcare. So this is really the chart for me. The daily time frame does it all. The weekly time frame, as we know, we are still in a weekly bull flag. Good support from our EMAs, really grinding up here, so it wouldn't surprise me if we're due for a slight push to the upside. However, if this pattern should break down and we get a hard close down below here, we have to expect, guys, that it will complete the pattern head and shoulders all the way potentially down to our neckline here, which would be the lower end of this range. So daily time frame for me is the one that's doing it. If you want to look on the 4 hour more specifically, well, what we need to see is bulls need to confirm this 4 hour uptrend. We're doing a good job of setting a higher low compared to this guy right here. So the bull trend is intact. However, kind of struggling within this range. You really want to see a break above these levels. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, then we'll go for XLF and XLV. Looking at the NASDAQ is our lead sector bull pretty much at this point. So if you look on the weekly time frame looks ripe for trend continuation to the upside. We may get the further upside here, leading right up into this resistance area, guys, on QQQ. That would pretty much be synonymous, like I was saying, with the 330 to 333 level, roughly. So we could be good for potentially another week of upside into this resistance area before we may potentially have to pull back, set a weekly higher low for further continuation. I say further continuation because up until now, the bears have not proved us anything. So as long as the bulls are in full control, the most likely scenarios for me will just be continuation of the weekly uptrend. Obviously, bulls want to create as much space above our 310 level as possible. That way, when they do pull back, the most likely scenario does become a higher low compared to here. So this would be something like this. And you could potentially get continuation through this resistance area right here, right? So looking at, I want to break down SPY, right? So we're talking about SPY strength. Where can SPY find its strength? So just a quick recap here, right? If we want to break above here, if we want to confirm this daily bull flag and negate our head and shoulders pattern, we need some strength. Technology's been holding its weight, but we need some strength from this guy right here, XLF Financials. Financials, said it in the video yesterday, need to set a higher low compared to this guy right here. And as of now, today, we did a good job. We did open red with a bit of negative banking headlines for the regional banks, but able to close a potential higher low above here. And if we can confirm and crack these highs over here at about 32.50, we will confirm a first daily uptrend since pretty much the last 2-3 weeks. So really looking forward to that. I'll be on watching XLF, and you can expect if XLF does have a green day tomorrow, that it will participate in lifting SPY. XLV, so we've been covering this pretty much now for the past 4 or 5 weeks at this point. It's a weekly bull flag. So as you can see, every time bears push down, they're having trouble getting through these moving averages, getting through this support line right here. So I'm looking out for the potential of weekly continuation here to the upside, which would set our weekly uptrend in motion. As you can see, the daily time frame is really choppy, but bulls really do not want to lose this low right here. Pretty much, it's very choppy, but anything above anything above this low right here at this point is going to be really, really good to continue that trend to the upside. I like to see how tight we're getting here. If you go down to the lower time frames, you can see that we're in a tightening range pattern. Yes, it's more skewed to the downside, but I like that we're tightening up here. We're not giving much back to the downside whenever we do drop. So bulls, what you want to see here is you want to see an hourly trend change. So they've done a good job here of making a good push. If we can get an hourly trend change to the bulls, that would then have us looking up higher to the 4-hour change for potentially an engulfing move. If we can get above 133, at that point for me, it's pretty much over for the bears, and I'm expecting further continuation to the upside there. So, well, the other index that I wanted to cover, and then we'll jump into crypto, is the Russell 2000. Russell 2000 is one of our weaker indexes at this point. It's been that way for a while. Like I've been saying, whenever it gets down closer to this area, I like on IWM, because I've been repeating myself now, writing puts in the 169 to 164 level. So today was another good opportunity. The premiums were pretty good for next week. You could get about 0.5% for the 168s, which was fairly decent. But as long as you don't get a big, 2% down day, you won't find the massive premium on this contract, right? So did a very good job today. It was down about 1.1, 1.2% at its lowest. I was able to find the 168s for next week, and we're already up since we're not able to push any lower today. I picked them up in the morning. We kind of grinded higher here. So I'm up about 20% on those contracts already. Very, very good. But what we're looking for, guys, is we're looking for the confirmation that this level here, right, that we kind of came down to, the 169, is our weekly high or low. You do not want to go down to the 167 area. You want to hold last week's low as a candle, and you need to see the bulls push into these moving averages. We need to see it, guys. The bulls need to, at this point, set a very, very good, have a few good days here, because if we get above the 175, 176, at that point, your daily uptrend will be in motion, and it will set the potential for our weekly trend reversal to the upside as well. Now, Bitcoin crypto has been having an absolutely disgusting last few weeks. If you look on the daily chart, as you can see, it's pretty much 6 days down at this point. The RSI isn't even oversold, which is slightly worrying. We are coming down into our major support area here between 26,500-ish and 27,000. So this is the area that I'm watching, and it was all about how does it come back into here. Now, we do have 3 hours left to close on the day, so still some time for the bulls, but as you see, we kind of came down in this area. We were struggling, and now they came down into it hard. I would have liked for them to put in at least a little green move before further continuation. That way it would create some space, but the bulls are just not able to do anything. We are now stuck in a daily downtrend at this point, right? Daily downtrend. We're stuck in a big 4-hour downtrend as well. So first things first, for the bulls, what you want to see is they have to start from zero. They have to first set an hourly trend change. You want to see a big push on the hourly, right? You want to see something like that, and then they come sit on it, and then they reverse the hourly trend change. When they reverse the hourly, then you can look, okay, how high has the 4-hour move come? On the 4-hour, what does that show? If it comes up to, if that's the hourly trend change, right? Well, then on the 4-hour, maybe you want to see something like this. Change it to the bulls on the 4-hour, and only then can you look up for daily continuation. So time frame for me, guys, on Bitcoin, very crucial point. I'm not even going to look at the other cryptos because, in my opinion, they do not matter. If Bitcoin will not turn around, this entire list of cryptos will be even more red than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin needs to do it first because of the dominance. It's been leading now for the past 4 or 5 months. Okay, so what I want to see in Bitcoin is you want to see this push above here on the hourly. I need to see an hourly trend change to the bulls. If not, the bears remain in full control. Like I said, if we do break down below this range potentially, there may be a condition to where we now use this range as resistance, which would suck for bulls, and then potential downside continuation all the way into the 25,000 range, where you have an even a very good level of support, in my opinion, right? So that's pretty much it for crypto. Not even worth it going into the other names because Bitcoin is basically your lead crypto at this point, whether bullish or bearish. Now, looking into Apple. So Apple, guys, Apple is kind of a bit of a weird one, right? So we haven't really been able to push above. Like I was saying yesterday, we kind of in this weird area. We're kind of creating like a daily bull flag. with lots and lots of space, but it's a daily bull flag at resistance, right? So you see the 175 resistance, how many times we've gotten shut down at this area, even prior to our all-time high. So we're about, it's a zone, right? So we're coming in up into the supply zone where people are willing to sell shares close to the all-time high. Completely understandable. So the time frame for me remains the 4-hour time frame on Apple. I need to see Apple bulls, whether they're going to do something like this, right? And this, or whether they're going to continue to tighten up. For me, the line remains around 170.6. That is your daily higher low for me at this point, right? Compared to this guy, this is looking like it wants to be your higher low. So anything below that for me would kind of negate this daily continuation that we have going on now. However, on the weekly time frame, we would just be looking for a weekly higher low at that point. So really nothing to worry about. Bulls are in full control here of the monthly, weekly, and daily charts at this point. It's just that we're getting a mini bit tired here at the tops, which is perfectly normal. Apple has moved like an absolute monster. So you want to see bulls continue their hourly uptrend at this point, right? It is an hourly uptrend at this point. So you want to see them hold this level roughly around the 173 mark and continue to kind of grind higher. If you're a bull and obviously your next target is very, very close, you're looking at about anywhere between 178, 179, right? Since we're almost through this resistance, I'm not going to say 175, it's too close. So further upside targets, obviously 175, 179 thereafter, and then it's pretty much your all-time high. So still bullish on Apple, but as you know me by now, I'm a type of trader that likes to wait for plays to come to me. So unfortunately, I'm not buying Apple up here, but congratulations to the bulls. And if you're trying to short Apple, well, if you're asking me when would I short Apple, because I can't give you guys advice, right? So if you're asking me when would I short Apple, well, I would like to see something like this, and then a daily lower high, okay, a breakdown below of wherever the low was, then I can get in on the break, set the stop loss up here, and continue down for potential weekly continuation to the downside to set our weekly higher low. I love to wait for that trade. I call it the breakout retest. It's a valid trade to the upside or the downside, right? You wait for the breakout, the retest. Then when it breaks out again over this guy, you put your stop below the low and you ride it up, right? As soon as it goes profitable, pretty much, you can set your stops to break even and it becomes a free trade. Now, Microsoft kind of in the same position as Apple, although not at all-time highs, but we are struggling here with our 310-ish resistance area, right? It's a kind of a range, 310 to 315. So what you want to do is you want to see the Microsoft bulls continue their grind higher. If for some reason they should fail and they would lose the 303 area, for me, that would kind of be a potential for a loss of a daily uptrend. So looking very, very carefully at that. 303 for me. And obviously, if they do somehow lose the daily time frame here, doing something like this, well, then you're looking for weekly consolidation. And there's so much space for the bulls above our recent higher low, which is roughly down here at about 275. There's so much space, guys, that really there's nothing to worry about if you're a bull, right? If anything, that becomes even a better opportunity for people like me who are more patient, who like to wait for things to come to me. And look at this range, right? If I draw my nice little yellow line here, this whole area now is acting as support. So if it does pull down into here about the 290 area, we have this whole range that's support and previous resistance, which is now also support. So very, very decent support down there. Would not be worried. It is getting a bit overextended on the weekly. So it wouldn't surprise me if Microsoft does have a bit of consolidation, but it also wouldn't surprise me if bulls continue to grind higher. It's all up to the bears at this point, guys, to prove it to us on most of these names. Meta, same thing. All up to the bears to prove it to us, right? So as I was saying yesterday, we have our daily trend, which is trying to continue. If for some reason we would double top or break down lower, this would confirm, unfortunately, if it would be this, it would confirm a daily downtrend. However, we would still be in a weekly uptrend, looking for a weekly consolidation, looking for a weekly higher low above, this is so annoying, above our 210 area right here. So we still have a decent amount of space before that, right? We can drop another almost 10%, right? Before testing that area. We have the moving averages down here. Bulls are in full control. The RSI is a little bit rich, kind of like Microsoft on the weekly here for Meta, but Levels to the upside, like we were saying, right? 245 is going to be that resistance if your bulls can grind higher. If for some reason we fail and look below, well, this would be a daily confirmed downtrend. So be careful. If it does become a daily downtrend, you are only looking for a weekly lower high. So just keep that in mind, guys. It doesn't mean that we're going to just, dump all the way here. One thing at a time. That's what's going to happen for Meta here. Google, our big winner of the day. Congratulations to the bulls. I have Google positions, and I wrote some covered calls about 2 weeks out for 119 when it was about 118.50-ish. Very, very happy that I was able to get that. I actually laddered it. I wrote some 119s, and I also wrote some 114s, which would pretty much be your gap fill down here from yesterday. So I have 2 positions here for laddering my shares on the covered calls. Doing decently, guys. Wrote them both at the top. So now we've come into some premium here. Google, very, 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 very happy. It did exactly what it needed to do. We've been talking about this for so long now. They needed to break my big purple line here. They did it in a convincing fashion. Now what you want to see is the breakout and the retest of this area as support, right? Obviously, we would love for it to just do this. Okay, yes. But usually, if you're not Nvidia, right? Usually stocks will break out and somewhat retest their previous zone. So I will be looking for a buying opportunity. Anything when we come down here into lower 110s, potentially if we do, I'm not saying we have to, but if we do, I'm looking for writing puts now at this point below our support in this range here, 107 to 105 area. That's where I'm going to be looking to write puts to acquire more stock. But now be careful on the daily. You are starting to get overbought. We have a bit of a shooting star candle here, which is a gap up and a doji close. It's still, it's bullish overall, but with this type of candle setup, you sometimes get continuation to the downside thereafter. If you want to see them, they're classic. It happens on Palantir, right? It happens on Palantir sometimes. You can see it on other names, right? Gap up, open into consolidation. So just perfect, normal market movement here, right? Just look out for those patterns. It even did it here, right? On Google. So, just look out for that after you gap up and get a very, very bullish day, 4.1%. Congratulations to the bulls again. Levels to the upside to be watching at this point. You're looking at 122 as your last area of resistance of this whole range here. Then we look higher, and down below, like I said, we're just looking for potential a weekly higher low off this move. I'm not saying it can't go higher and then make it here, something like that. It's always possible, but just for levels purposes, for purposes of illustration, right? I wouldn't want bulls to really give back more than 50% of this move. So if we put some Fibonacci's on here, right? I wouldn't want to see bulls come down lower than around 110, I'll give them, 111-ish, sorry. So right around 111, you want to see the bulls hold that. That way your most likely scenario, if they do that, down to 111 does still remain a trend continuation, and it doesn't do something like this and you get kind of a tightening range, So that's pretty much it for Google. Google's kind of carrying now at this point, right? Apple, Microsoft flat, Google just carrying like that. Love to see it. Amazon also carrying, right? Amazon, very, very bullish days. Like, look at these days, guys. Microsoft did absolutely nothing today, right? And Apple, what did Apple do? Absolutely nothing today. Meta, what did Meta do? Meta, 1.16%, okay, but the real winners today were Amazon and Google, right? So Amazon at this point, pushing above, clearing our previous resistance area here on the 110 range. Now we're struggling with this guy, our big earnings candle, right? Where they kind of shot up and gave it all back the next day. So Amazon, very, very bullish, in my opinion. Very, very bullish looking chart. Why? Because now we have our weekly trend confirmation to the upside. So weekly uptrend has been maintained and further confirmed. You have your moving averages that are crossing. MACD is finally starting to get positive. Look how long it's been negative, guys, since the drop. We're finally approaching positive territory on momentum here. RSI pointing to the upside, and daily, the reason why I'm so bullish is because now we're above all our moving averages in a convincing fashion, and we've created a lot of space for your higher low for daily continuation. Levels to the downside to be watching, in my opinion, around the 106. Anything above 104-ish is your daily higher low. So tons and tons and tons of space, about 8% worth of space. But I would like to see bulls hold these moving averages around the 107 area, right? Right where there's this little gap, 106, 107. I want to see bulls hold that at least. The higher they can hold, the better. So be it. If they continue to push, that's even better. Then we just potentially do something like this, right? So we're looking for bulls are in absolute full control. I will only be interested in adding to my short put positions. If we do get some consolidation here, I'll be eyeing the 103, 104 range. Now, I wanted to look into Tesla as well. So Tesla, we're looking at very bullish news at the end of the day, really like super end of the day move on Tesla here. Why? Because as you can see, about 14 minutes ago, Tesla stock jumps after Musk announces new Twitter CEO. So a big reason why they said Tesla stock was dropping back in pretty much like November, right? Like this whole disaster, November, December, was because Elon acquired Twitter and they said that he was spending too much time there and Tesla investors wanted him back at the company. Well, you got what you wanted. Now Elon Musk, he's been saying it now for 3-4 months that he was shopping for a CEO for Twitter. So it shouldn't really be surprising that he actually did what he said he was going to do, right? But very, very good move on Tesla. Like we were saying yesterday, what did we want to see out of this tightening range? You wanted to see bulls maintain control. It's a bit messy, but if you want to break it down here. So what do we have here? We had a recapture of the hourly uptrend. Now we get bullish confirmation to the upside. What is it doing on the 4 hour? 4 hour is we're now confirming our 4 hour uptrend to the upside. And we're potentially confirming the fact that these levels here, 167, may just be your daily high or low. If that is the case and we continue up tomorrow, I'm looking at targets of 177, which would be the gap fill to the downside. You do not want to lose 166, 165, or else you would basically lose the potential for a daily uptrend at that point, and you would be maybe looking for short-term time frame downtrends and potentially a loss of the daily uptrend as a whole if you do break down below 165. So wouldn't want to see that. Congratulations to Tesla bulls. In my opinion, still looking bullish for continuation into this gap fill. We have our MACD pointing upwards and we do have our RSI pointing upwards as well. Palantir, for everybody who's been in the Palantir earnings, we got a lot of take profits up here, perfectly normal on the daily time frame, right? RSI is massively overbought. Makes sense, right? This stock has kind of come up around 30% from the lows recently, so it does need time to cool off the lower time frames, guys. Still haven't cooled off the 4 hour time frame. MACD is curling over. Have we cooled off the hourly? Yes, we have. See, the RSI is treacherous sometimes, right? The chart's been going up, but the hourly RSI has been going down. Why? Because it's relative. It's just that we haven't been going up as fast as here. That's why this is going down, right? It's a relative basis. So be very careful with RSI sometimes with extreme moves. So bulls and absolute complete control. We have not yet lost the 4 hour uptrend, right? So we're trying to set a higher low here at around 9.7. Our more recent low is around 930, right? So as long as we hold 9.7, we remain in a 4 hour uptrend. If we should somehow lose it like this, though, you would now be in a confirmed 4 hour downtrend. At that point, if you lose the 4 hour, you want to look one time frame higher. You'll just be looking for daily consolidation at that point, something like this. And now there's so much space to set a higher low. I know they gave it all back before, guys. They've done this a few times. But what I find solace in is if we can close the monthly. I need to see a hard monthly close. I need this to confirm a monthly uptrend, right? So we're looking to set at this point the monthly higher lows, 720, 730. My opinion, we're not going to, anything can happen, but I would be very surprised if we give back our 725 level here that we started at. So at this point, bulls are in a confirmed weekly uptrend at this point. So you just want to see some potential daily consolidation, cool the RSI over here. Can it move higher, guys? Like I'm not saying it has to. When I do that, right? Keep in mind, it could go like this and then do some daily consolidation. All I'm saying is we're looking for a higher low. It hasn't confirmed the daily uptrend. It's just a straight line up at this point. To confirm a daily uptrend, you need to set a higher low compared to this guy here and then smash it. Then you have a confirmed daily uptrend. As of now, though, monthly uptrend, weekly uptrend, daily, obviously gonna jump the gun here and say it will be a daily uptrend potential. Maybe it does something like this and consolidates for a while and then pushes, but you're still in a weekly uptrend. So always rely on the higher time frames for that. Right? PayPal. If you guys didn't see my video on PayPal earnings, Palantir earnings, and Airbnb, go check it out on the channel. But briefly, what I wanted to show you guys is we are at the same level as 2017, September 2017, right? And look at this, right? So this year, last year, 2022, we made $27 billion. I don't have it here, but trust me guys when I say in 2017, they made just about $13.5 billion. So we're literally double the revenue that we had in 2017 for the exact same share price. We have more customers, we have more revenue, and the stock price is the same. That's when I find deep value in the stock. Quick little forecast here. If you see all the analysts, none of them are selling. This is a buy target. Their minimum, usually you never see this. The bear case scenario, guys, for financial modeling, right? The bear case scenario is 75. The average case is 96, and the bullish optimistic scenario is 160. So keep that in mind. We are trading below our bear case scenario. I'm still bullish on this company. I really don't mind what anybody says. Everybody has their own opinion. At these prices, it is, in my opinion, a bargain, and that's why I'm personally buying it. You guys can obviously do what you want, not financial advice. However, this company is extremely cheap, in my opinion. That's why I have been loading up on short put positions at the money here to capture the most amount of premium. I hope to be assigned some shares. If not, I may just buy them in the open market. But for now, I'm playing as much premium down here with as big of a position size as I possibly put on one stock at this point, right? So I do have a lot of size on this position right now. I also did open a leap call for June 2024. So I do have a leap call position on this stock from $45. It cost me roughly $23.75 for about a year out. So 45 plus 23, my break even is literally about 68.75, right? Which is barely, how much is this above share price? You're paying a premium at current price, right? You're paying a premium of just about 6% over for about a year's worth of time. And since my option at $45 cost me $23, 23 is half of 45 roughly, so you're getting 2-to-1 leverage. Buying 100 shares at 45, you would have to literally pay, you would literally have to pay $4,500, right? Well, I paid $2,300 for a call option, so I'm getting 2-to-1 leverage on my strike price. But on current share price, if I were to buy 100 shares here, well, it would cost me $6,400. So I'm getting roughly 3-to-1 leverage should the price maintain here. And if it goes down all the way to my strike, even then, I would still be getting pretty much I'm still getting 2-to-1 leverage while I'm in that position. So very, very decent position in my opinion, especially with VIX this low. That's why I took the opportunity to take this position here. So that's pretty much it for PayPal. Obviously, targets to the upside remains this now whole area of 71, 72 is acting as resistance. So we're going to need to see some very, very good bullish action here to crush that. One time frame at a time. When you get such a big drop like this, guys, one thing at a time. Need to reverse the hourly uptrend like they've been trying to do today. Confirm the hourly uptrend, then you go one time frame higher. You need to see it on the 4-hour. Can they create enough space? You need to see the hourly time frame push up as much as you can, create as much space as you can for then to set up a 4-hour trend change, and then you look at the daily. All right, so one thing at a time. Watch your lower time frames. You want to see bulls get as high as possible on this move so that they create enough space that you can reverse a daily time frame. Okay, that's what you want to see here on PayPal. So that's pretty much all the stocks that I wanted to cover today, right? And if you have any stocks that you guys want me to look at, by the way, I always look over the major tech names because those are the ones that move the market the most. They're the ones that people have the most exposure in too, right? If you want, we can actually look at semiconductors. I apologize. We didn't look at semiconductors. Semiconductors holding the line here. Holding the line. I've been looking at them today. A lot of them were actually down on the day. If you look at NVIDIA, down 1%. If you look at AMD, the AMD actually finished positive. That's surprising. I didn't track it for the rest of the afternoon, but they were down pretty much in the morning here as well. So semiconductors, very, very pivotal moment for semiconductors, right? You want to see them confirm a daily uptrend at this point. They've been kind of struggling to hold it. It is a weekly, still a potential weekly uptrend, right? Your higher low is 116, right? They want to hold this higher level that they set at around 119. You don't want to lose this level, guys. If you lose this, you're down to this, and you could potentially you could potentially be in for maybe a double bottom at best, and at worst, well, you would confirm a weekly downtrend, which is not what you want to see on semiconductors because a lot of them have a lot of room to fall, right? So you really want to see bulls be able to push above your 125 levels on the index. And if you're looking, I'll go through the charts quickly, guys, right? Nvidia grinding higher, still in a tightening wedge. So I'm looking at this tightening wedge on the daily. As of now, bulls are in full control, right? Are in full control. Cat do still have the potential for a daily trend continuation. I'm looking for it. Weekly bulls still in control. Can't ignore the rising wedge though. AMD bulls on the shorter time frames are a bit overextended, but as you can see on the daily, we've created a lot of space so that your most likely scenario is something like a daily higher low compared to your lows here at 81. They can set the daily higher low for potential trend continuation. If Nvidia starts dropping, you need to see names like AMD, you need to see names like Taiwan Semiconductors, right? Take over. They need to take over, right? So TSM as well, we are in a weekly downtrend at this point. So first things first, you need to see them reverse the daily time frame, which they are trying to do, right? Bears really cut down big into it today. You don't want to see that. Line in the sand level for me at this point becomes 82.5. If you lose that, depends if we get follow through or not, but we're barely holding on to this daily uptrend, right? You want to see a break of 85.63. Anything below 82.50 will not be very good for the bulls because we are in a weekly downtrend, right, at this point. So you really need to see them start to reverse some things. And also Intel, guys. Intel has just been an absolute, it's not really a disaster because the price is so low, right? But, down about 15% since after their really good earnings, right? So that's not too good. You don't want to see that. Actually, a bit less than that. I apologize. Since their highs, yes, but since earnings, no. So Intel at this point really giving back to a lot of their move. Some people could argue that this is a potential weekly downtrend confirmed at this point. If you smooth it out on the 2 week, it wouldn't be. You would be looking for a 2 week higher low, which they still have time to do. So in my opinion, this is still for the bulls. The bulls do still have the higher time frames here. We're looking to set the monthly higher low as well, which would be huge. Look at this monthly downtrend, right? We need to set the monthly higher low, and then Intel will be bullish again, in my opinion. The lower time frames are getting extremely oversold at this point, which is good. I will be looking for Intel for next week in this area. That's why I have the line on the chart. 27.5s is an area that I feel 27.5 all the way down to 25 is an area that I feel that there's good value in being an Nvidia shareholder. And I would not mind being assigned there because I do feel that the most likely scenario is a monthly higher low. And I'm expecting a bounce, so I think that I'd be able to get out of that position fairly easily. But risk to reward is good, right? We're down so much. This is a bargain at this point. If the rest of the semiconductors still continue to do well, have pricing power throughout the year, I think that this will perform well over the next year, next 2 and 3 years as well. So guys, went over a lot of tickers. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, if you did, consider liking the video, consider subscribing. I hope everyone did well today, man. And don't forget, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, and always be positive and consistent in trading, guys. Even if you had a bad day, if you lost money, it does not matter. Just continue showing up. You got this. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.